alive. Because it's not every day we're on the roads, is it? We are, you know, commuting to different continents, to different countries, to even different counties via the air, all right? And you want to understand, why don't we see as many accidents on air? We try to look at the comparisons. And when we do have those accidents, what does happen? You've had the Boeing, you know, crash, the Malaysian crash. I remember there's a plane that is still being looked for. And you're trying to find out, then when these things happen, what has gone wrong? Today on the journey through aviation is Mr. Logan.
Thank you for having me.
I am excited.
Yeah, me too. I know it will be an interactive show today, talking about matters of aviation and safety. Yeah.
And I like that you actually brought us to a different angle of aviation and safety.
Yeah.
I'm giving you a moment to say good morning to the viewer, just so they know you're an easy person, because I at least have interacted with you and I know you're easy.
Yeah.
And you can also ask them if they have any other questions as we continue.
Okay, thank you for having me. And to our viewers, good morning. If you have any questions about aviation or aviation safety, you can always share them with us, and I'll be glad to answer your questions fully. Yeah.
Thank you. I'm just going to start with one comment here. Nicole Chris, is that familiar?
Yeah.
Yeah, she said, Habibi. I had to read that on the air. It just starts me off. You want to say good morning, or you want to say hello to me, Nicole Chris?
Hello. Hope she's doing well.
You hope she's doing well?
Yeah.
All right, me too. All right, guys. Of course, let me start by appreciating Controller WB, Benson Buiren, Mekuana Apple, but she's calling me Kanye, because it's Anki.
Oh,
so
okay.
He has done some art over there. And Ndegwa Wadhungi saying fantastic. Edgar Hansen Mwanyahururu, hats off, you guys, you are loyal. Of course, saying Nyahururu is tuned. Joyce Kimari, thank you very much. We hope to have you via Skype very soon. Saying good morning, Anki and viewers. It's really sad that today we start Arrive Alive segment with bad news. Let's try and be careful on our roads. That's for sure. It was really disheartening, you know, to just start with accidents, something overturning, and that's not always the best way to start your morning. I have been following closely the aviation and air transport.
Okay.
There are accidents here and there once in a while, maybe the weather, maybe mechanical issues, but not as much as on the roads. I don't know if you share the same sentiments.
Okay, as I said, you know, aviation is a highly regulated industry. And when it comes to aviation safety, it's very critical, and aviation safety starts, like we usually say, aviation safety starts with you as a person, you know. So the thing about the difference between like road and aviation is, in aviation, everything is highly regulated. There are so many checks, you know, before that. In aviation, we say accidents just don't happen. You know, accidents just don't happen. Accidents, we usually say accidents are a chain of events that lead to that particular accident happening.
Yes.
So what we try to do is we try to mitigate or reduce the risk of that accident. So in between, we make sure nothing goes wrong, you know, so that we can, that's why we have less accidents in aviation compared to road transport. Yeah.
And of course, the viewers try to figure out where this authority is coming from. Logan Onsare is an avionics engineer.
Yeah.
So when it comes to maintenance, you are very key. You're saying some of these things can actually be avoided.
Yeah.
But let's start with the aviation. The aviation as it is, the training, because we've been talking about drivers having DLs without training. We've been talking, that is on the roads. We've been talking about people buying DLs on our roads. How does it go with aviation? How thorough and rigorous is that training?
Okay, in aviation, you cannot buy your way in. So let me talk about the engineering part.
Yes.
It's very vigorous. Like the training that we undergo through, it's very serious. We have different modules that we do, and we have to pass those modules before continuing to the next level. So, and once you're finished, it never stops there, you know. You know, for us, you have certifications. Okay. When you get to the field, you have so many certifications. You can't just wake up and start working on an aircraft just like that, you know. You have to be certified so that you can carry out some other tasks, or for you to sign off a plane. Yes. We usually call it CRS in short. certificate of return to service. So, yeah, so every time there's a check or there's maintenance done on an aircraft, there has to be a CRS issued for that particular, whether task or whatever. And a certified engineer has to counter inspect and test and approve that it's actually working. So you see, that's how aviation is. It's so strict. So reducing the risks of accidents.
I like how you continue to say and echo, you reduce the risks, you reduce the risks. And when it comes to professionalism, you're saying it's not something you can play around when it's aviation.
Yeah, you cannot.
You're either certified or not.
Yes.
And when you said it doesn't end here, we're looking at refresher courses, especially for road safety. We've been talking to drivers, you know, go get your eye checked. Go get your ears checked. Go get your mental health right. What happens in the aviation? Because you guys hold a lot of lives, and up in the air, it's not like you're gonna swerve.
Yeah.
How people doing on the roads? What happens there, especially on what we're calling refresher courses, and just checking the mental health of these people?
Okay, there are usually trainings as you go on,
Yeah.
on-job trainings, and also certification courses, as I said earlier. So, for example, if you're, for me, like I'm an engineer, right? Right now, I'm doing like a certification course so that I can be able to like sign off on some stuff. And it doesn't stop there. That's one part. So there's other checks. So in a specific aircraft, let's say, for example, a Boeing 737, you can be certified for a Boeing 737. Probably you have a license, or maybe an avionics, you have like different categories of licenses. So for example, let's take you have a license on autopilot on a 737. You can't work on a 787.
All right.
You know,
Good.
because you have to again be certified for that other aircraft for you to work on it and sign it off. So that's why aviation is very, very safe, and I'll continue saying aviation safety is paramount. You don't play around with it.
I like when you say that, because I know motorists are watching how you are suddenly driving, how do you call this? A small car, and then you're given a tractor, or you're now suddenly transiting cargo. You know, I like to do the comparisons because this is the first time we're learning about aviation. How long does it take to study aviation or avionics engineering?
Okay, it depends. Like for aviation, avionics, you can do like 4 years degree or 5 years degree or 3-year diploma course. Then after that, you do like now the license, which takes about a year to be certified. Then after that, you have other type ratings that you have to continue doing so that you can also like improve on your knowledge and skills and everything. Because in the aviation industry, you're always learning every day. You'll come today, tomorrow something is different. So you have to be on your toes.
You are really challenging the drivers today.
Yeah.
Tell you what, mostly there's been the aspect of I use this road every day, so I don't need to think anything is going to change. That doesn't work in aviation.
No, that's complacency.
Okay.
Yeah, and usually we have a law. It's called the Murphy's Law. If anything can go wrong, it will go wrong. So in aviation, if anything can go wrong, it will go wrong. So we usually try to make sure it never goes wrong.
It never goes wrong. Quite a challenge today. I like how you're straight up with your words as well. When things do go wrong, you know, for example, because some people have seen a lot of accidents, maybe 1, 2, 3, but they're usually very major. What really does go wrong? There's always been, you know, when this happens, there are lives involved, and you see a lot of, you know, legal aspects to it. Most of the times, for the layman, it's always been the pilot, all right, or the engineer. Or the weather.
Okay.
But now that you're here and you're an expert, you can bring us up to speed on the accidents that actually happen up in the air, and what they really mean, what really does cause them.
Okay, as I said earlier, as in accidents don't just happen. Okay. These are chain of reactions. So if someone slept on their job somewhere along the chain, probably if the maintenance person slept on the job, if the pilot slept on the job, if, you know, if the ATC or there was miscommunication, you know, such things that now can lead to an accident happening. So let's take, for example, like the highly publicized 737.
Highly publicized, you just said, yes.
Yeah, yeah, because everyone was talking about it, like the Boeing crashes, the Ethiopian Airlines and the other, was it an Indonesian airline,
Yes.
Lion Air? So when you think about it, there, there are different things that led to that happening, you know, and I wouldn't go into details in like saying this is this and this.
Yeah,
and
because
this.
it could be a legal issue.
Yeah, yeah, yeah. But what I can say is, like, we usually, like for engineers, we make sure like the checks that we do, the maintenance that we do is up to standard as per KCAA standards or as per FAA or as per EASA standards. So we make sure like we do our things as per the set standards, you know. The way the manufacturer designed the aircraft and gave it to you, you have to follow what how you maintain that.
It's like a manual.
Yeah, actually, we deal with manuals.
Okay.
You can't just go into an aircraft like in a car, someone just comes, starts removing things. No, you don't do that in aviation. So you have a manual. So if you're given a task, you look it up. From the manual, now the manual will give you a guideline on how to conduct that task. Yeah.
All right, so you're still not talking to me about the weather aspect. We have a really celebrated pilot now. She was a co-pilot or not in Kenya, where she actually landed safely. It was quite a moment for the country. And I'm looking at those particular, because sometimes I don't want to take the flight because I can just cancel it, depending on, checking the meteorological updates, and I'm like, it's not going to look so good. For those who have flights, they might want to know what kind of weathers just don't work right with the aviation.
Okay.
For layman.
Okay, in terms of weather, the aircrafts are designed to fly in all types of weather. But when extreme weather conditions, you can't fly. So they issue like, we call them NOTAMs, notice to, NOTAMs.
NOTAMs.
Yeah.
Okay.
Yeah. So they'll issue that. So they'll tell for example, if you're in JKIA and the weather around Nairobi airspace is hella crazy, you can't land in Nairobi, they'll issue to the pilots, they'll tell the pilots the weather in Nairobi is not okay. So that's why you hear sometimes aircrafts are diverted to maybe Mombasa or Dar es Salaam, depending on the weather. So weather is a critical aspect. Weather actually really, really affects aviation safety, because if the weather is so bad, the risk of accidents happening is also quite high.
Yes.
Depending on also the skill of the pilot and other factors considered. Yeah.
I like when you mentioned the skill of the pilot. I know you're basically in the engineering, but you want to talk about why it's very, very important, because now we're seeing a lot of, it's an electioneering period. And we see choppers all over. They land, within the community. I don't know if you guys follow these things and if it's a concern for you guys who are actually in the industry when you see certain politicians, use their choppers for campaigns. I don't know what would be a safety aspect around that you want to talk about.
Okay.
Because we see people hang on them as well.
Okay, now that's a safety concern. You don't hang on a chopper when probably it's about to take off, whatever, because the rotor blades can just slice you up and make you.
You actually call them what? Rotor blades?
Yeah, they're called rotor blades there, yeah. So they can just mince you up and you're gone.
They didn't think of that. I think my concern has been you falling off. I didn't think of you being slashed like you're put in today.
Yeah, you can. And there have been quite cases, not particularly maybe in Kenya.
In Kenya?
But there are people who are sucked into like the engines of the aircraft, Like when when the aircraft is being powered, there's like a distance you should stand, or they're like how you should stand.
Please tell us more. Just give us those details. Where you should stand, because that's how, right now I'm doing this for the Mwananchi, because trust me, they really are just, glorifying these people that just want to hug them, shake their hands. But if we told them, as much as you are a fanatic of politics, how to handle yourself around that chopper, maybe you could just take your time, tell people what distance to stand and what not to do, the do's and don'ts around this period.
Okay, like when for example, the chopper is being powered up and you should ensure a safety distance of about maybe 20 to 30 meters from the chopper.
Yes.
Yeah, so that you avoid the risk of any accidents or you getting minced up. Also, the same way with planes, when they're being powered up, you should you have a safety distance that you should maintain the same. If it's on full power, maintain 30 to 50 meters distance. So, and at an angle, you just don't stand straight towards it. So you're supposed to stand at an angle, probably 30 degrees from the engine.
Like say this is the plane, and just on your seat, what's the angle?
Yeah, so you measure 30 degrees, where will it be? Maybe slightly on the side. Yeah.
All right, very interesting. So when you are doing these campaigns and, you know, doing all these rallies and you're, you know, supporting your politician with all the vibrance, you probably want to follow closely this conversation and ask as many questions at Look Up TV. Also, those interested in doing the courses, you also can ask engineer here what it takes, where to start, what subjects. We can go down to that. The examinations are over, so you do know that KCAC candidates, KCP, they are aspiring to actually understand how this works. So talk to me at Look Up TV, at, of course, on Twitter, hashtag The Morning Drift. Sucking someone into the engine, I'm really curious on understanding how that works. It's one of the accidents you have said might happen.
Yeah.
But we've never known about that. I don't think most people know about you being sucked in the engine just because you're playing around the chopper.
Yeah. Oh, okay. For the chopper is different. Now I'm talking about the planes with like the gas turbine engines. Yeah. So you should like just stay a distance from it. Like I said, probably 30 to 50 meters from when it's being powered up on full power, because there's that suction force. So it can just suck you inside the engine and you're gone.
Wow. All right. Now, you know, when the fuel crisis shot up and everyone was scratching their heads thinking, wait, we don't have alternative means of transport. I don't know. Do you think aviation can work as an alternative? Because it's between, you know, counties, across counties is working so far, but not everywhere has an airstrip.
Yeah.
Is it an option for Kenya? I know the next government is watching this show.
Okay, I feel like aviation has so much potential in Kenya, and it's growing rapidly. It's growing like crazy. And I feel like aviation or air transport should be made way affordable for people. You know, like nowadays, okay, in Kenya, people see like air transport as a luxury, you know?
Yeah, mostly.
Yeah, they see air transport as a luxury. I saw a tweet some time back on Twitter, some guy saying, why, like in Europe, you can find you're going from maybe from one state to another with just a fraction of amount compared to like what you can pay maybe from Kenya to maybe another African state, or from Kenya to from Nairobi to a
another
different
county.
Yeah. So I feel like aviation now it's growing. The low-cost carriers are coming up, and that's a good thing. The competition, we need like more carriers to come up so that you can have a healthy competition, and also that will be creating jobs for people, you know.
And that's true. And as you have said, people feel it's a bit expensive as much as they would want it as an alternative means of transport.
Yeah.
Do you agree with my guest on set? And of course, Martin Gichuki is watching, saying, educative topic, I've been in the driving industry since 1999, wishing my son 9 years to be a pilot. Guide me, please. That is Sir Martin, founder, Sports for Jesus Ministry. He's saying, he's been in the driving industry for so many years, like since 1999, and he wishes that his son, who is now 9 years, could at least pursue, you know, the aviation and be a pilot. And he's saying, please guide me. I don't know what you'd say in response.
Okay. For pilots, you can start as early as 16 years or 14 years.
Oh, wow.
Okay, yeah. And for pilots, you have different licenses. So he'll have to do first his private pilot license. There are a lot of flight schools around in Kenya, so you would do like a minimum requirements for you to get it is like 40 hours, 40 flight hours, and other requirements that you should, like ground school, you should complete the training. Yeah. Then now you do the exams at KCAA. When you pass the exams, there's the written exams, then you now do like the skill test. Now you go up flying with an instructor.
Nice.
Yeah, so that's the journey. He has to get the PPL first. That's like 40 hours. Then you transition to commercial pilot license. Again, you do about 150 hours. for you to like qualify to get the CPL license. After that, you're done with your CPL. There are other ratings that you do also. And then, because if you want to transition to like airline pilots, you need a minimum of about 1,400 hours or 1,500 hours for you to fly like the big jumbo jets.
You know, he's 9 years old, and I'm looking at he can start this in like he's 9 years old, so in about 5 years he could start commencing some bit of training for his son.
Yes, he can.
Mr. Martin, I hope the answer is satisfactory. If you still have any other questions to follow up on the same, talk to me at Lookup TV. But I feel for me, as early as 13, 14,
Yeah.
you know, for you to get your driving license on the roads, it's you have to be 18 and above.
Yeah.
Do you think it's a good idea to start so early?
You know, you can start early, you know, as long as the training is done well.
All right.
You know, and the training is always done well, and they're usually strict on the training. So, and I feel like it will give you even like a better chance when you start early to gain more hours. By the time you get to 18, you'll have clocked more hours compared to someone starting at probably 18 or 20. Yeah.
How are female pilots doing? How are female avionics engineers also doing? Because I wish we'd had one on set. I'm sorry I deviated to the stereotypic aspect of it. Because when people get into a matatu and they see a female driver, they have an aspect of, okay, chill. I'm fine, I'm okay, I could wait for them on the queue, which is a stereotype we continue to still fight, because most men, or even women, equate a female motorist to danger. But we're seeing a lot of celebrated female pilots and captains when it comes to aviation.
Yeah, well, that's quite interesting to see a female in a field which it's perceived to be male-dominated, and it's something so interesting to look at. Like in my class, I had female friends who are engineers also, and they're competent. And I will feel safe flying in the planes that they're maintained, because I know them and I know they're competent in their work, and they follow like the standards set. So I have no I have no doubts about them, because I know they passed through a well-trained program and they managed to pass. So yeah.
I'm looking at this conversation, and so much is standing out from, you started by your personal initiative.
Yeah.
You've talked about training over and over and how rigorous and the stages. You say you don't mess with that. You said number 2, you do not touch what you're not trained for.
Yeah.
And number 3, I've also picked an aspect of maintenance.
Yeah.
And I want us to talk about maintenance again, because I know we're about to wrap up, and how this has actually made aviation one of the safest means of transport. Again, just reiterate on the importance of maintenance. How many times is a plane, maintained? How many times do they checks? Because I really want to know, because sometimes our drivers don't even go around their cars in the morning, and then they're stalled on the road. You don't have the laxity of stalling on air.
How? You
Oh, you dropped that.
So yeah, every time a plane, before it takes off, it has to be checked. You know, the pilot will conduct the checks, and also the engineer.
The pilot.
Yeah, the pilot will also do their checks, and the engineers also will have to do their checks, and make sure like the plane is safe for it to fly. Before the plane flies, the engineer has to certify this plane is okay for it to fly. So a plane doesn't goes like that.
What do you check? I know in the cars we check the oil, we check the tires, we check if they're brake oils, we check a lot of things, the water levels. What do you check on a plane?
Okay, you can check for, as you said, like tires. What are the tires worn out? What are the condition of the tires? You check the fuselage. Does it have any damages to the fuselage, either cracks or anything? You check for maybe loose bolts or loose fasteners, Yeah, such things are the ones that you check. And also you can check for other systems if they're working correctly, maybe the electronic systems if they're working correctly.
Does anyone check the seat belts?
Yeah, the seat belts are usually...
Yeah, because I know that's always something, you buckle up.
But the seatbelts are usually like are maintained after like a specific period, because even the chairs are usually maintained after a specific period,
Okay.
or a specific number of flight hours. there's, for example, we have something called the C check. This is like the major check of an aircraft, where
Okay.
everything is stripped down and they take everything off. Like,
Oh.
yeah, they take everything off. If you weren't there when they're doing a C check, you wouldn't want to fly, because seeing the aircraft as a shell, you'd be like, this is what we fly in. But yeah, so it's necessary for us to do that, because
Okay.
to make sure like the plane is up to standards.
I think we just want to have you on board again very soon to now take a look at this maintenance in depth, because we look at making sure that, you know, drivers can borrow. You know, when other industries, transport industries are doing well, we tend to just let them do well, and we don't want to borrow what exactly they're doing. I'm seeing a lot of discipline. I'm seeing a lot of, you know, firmness, even in your speech or in your discussion today, and we want to have that same kind of authority with our drivers, you know, the professionalism. That's what we're trying to bring, the sobriety.
Yes.
So thank you very much, but I want you to give a tip, one or two, in just the next 2 minutes as I close, to somebody who's flying this morning, and they pretty much don't buckle up. They don't think it's such a big deal. They have their windows open, or whatever reason. Talk to the passenger this morning as they take their flight on the things they think is not as important, and I'll also give a closing remark.
Okay, for passenger, you should always ensure, like, you're always keen to what the flight crew safety instructions before the plane takes off. There's that safety drill that the flight crew usually give, and some people just be like, I'm used to this, but they do it for a reason. Just in case of an emergency, you should know what to do. And there's also like a safety card behind the seat in front of you. So you just have to like pick it up and see, because there's also like emergency doors and whatnot. So you should always be keen with the safety drills the crew give you, and also you can read the safety card manual and also like see, just in case of an emergency, you already know what you're supposed to do. So yeah.
And I want you to also come on board soon, and you can also give us some expert on what to do in case of an emergency in the air. You know, those are things people don't get to see much. You don't want to Google that information.
Exactly.
You want to hear it from somebody on set. So Arrive Alive would love to have more of the aviation talks moving forward, and we're appreciating you, Logan, for, you know, being a young man very firm in safety. We want to borrow. So I know motorists are saying, oh, you're praising them so much. I'm praising them so much because of the kind of seriousness they handle those lives with. So maybe Arrive Alive, it's not all about the roads. It's the train, it's the aircraft, it's the plane, it's the road, it's the bicycle, it's the pedestrians, Futsubishi. Are you familiar with that? And that's how we end today. Thank you very much for creating time.
And thank you for having me. And
Terrible.
I'll be glad to come back again.
Great, we're looking forward.
Okay. Same.
Guys, coming up is the big conversation, and I know today is a very big day. You see, autism people would do, you know, advocates would do a blue. All right, so you understand why I'm in blue today, looking at the, you know, neurological aspects of health. And the budget is being read out today, how much allocation has been put for the health sector. We talk about state-of-art equipment. Talk about we have to be flown to different countries to deal with our, you know, other chronic diseases. How much do we spend? How much do we ask Kenyans to, you know, to changie? You know, and how many doctors are affordable for that matter? How many hospitals give quality services and affordable services? We talk about that shortly with my guests coming on board on #TheMorningDrift. Don't go too far away.
Please make those payments and take dinner out the freezer. Enjoy your day off.
Hey.
How was your day?
Great.
Did you pay the bills?
Abby did it.
And the plumber?
Abby did it.
Send money to your mom?
Abby did it.
Who's Abby?
Bank on WhatsApp with Abby.
your 24/7 digital personal banker. Another digital innovation that gets things done. That's Africanacity. That's ABSA.
Did you take dinner out the freezer?
Get a chance to wake up as a tourist as you view Mount Kenya every day by buying a plot of land at Wema Gardens, Maru Moru. At only 400 meters off tarmac, this is the right place to build your dream home, cottages or holiday homes. You can also buy this property to give to your children as a special inheritance. Water and electricity are in the vicinity, while neighbors are already building their homes. These plots are specially ready for you with title deeds scheduled to be out in 6 months. Buy a 50 by 100 plot of land at Wema Gardens for only 399,000 Kenya shillings. You can also pay for your plot through our friendly 1-year installments plan.
Want to grow your business? Broadcast your sermon, share birthday wishes, make funeral announcements, produce adverts and documentaries? Then book and advertise with us today by calling us on +254 700 893 542
700 893 542
or email us on sales@luke-up.tv.
Sasa hizi maneno umejifunga juu kwa smartphone na venye sasa unakaa.
Yaani mwenyewe huwezi understand fashion yangu nikikwambia. Shenzi sana.
Oh, wewe aje hapo niwekewe chai, ukunywe uende job. Utaki kuambiwa makosa yako yenye unafanya kwa hii nyumba. Hata cha yenyewe ukunywi. Wanaume, mbona hamna roho ya utu?
Mbona unanikatia simu? Unajua mimi nashangaa na wewe. Mimi ndo tajiri yako na unanikatia simu. Kijana anafanya bila hata. Vijana wa siku hizi, vichwa ngumu, vichwa marenge kabisa. Asiki, unaona wewe unakosea mimi heshima na hiyo. Unaona mambo yako? Wewe nafuta wewe kazi. Leo ulali kwangu leo.
Mzee,
Leo ulali.
Miezi nivuta kazi hapa hivi kama hajanipatia pesa yangu.
Okay, madam, niletee chicken teriyaki. Hope hakuna shida.
Yes, mimi ni sonko lakini. Ni sonko msoto my friend. Afadhali niwaambie ukweli.
The future of money is simple, like unlocking possibilities with a smile. And having the world in the palm of your hand. It's the ability to touch many lives at the same time and turn your dreams into reality. It's forgetting and still remembering. Simple is having everything that you love in one place. From the ticket to your next meal, to your ticket to the next holiday. It's an easy way to ask for a boost when you're low. And keeping track of everything on the go. The future of money is simple, and it's here. Download the new M-Pesa app today.
Are you looking to turn your passion to purpose? Vera Beauty and Fashion College now brings you online classes at the comfort of your home. We are a TVET-approved institution with over 20 years' experience in training competency-based courses in fashion design and creative arts, cosmetology, hairdressing, beauty therapy, interior design in soft furnishings, event decoration and flower arrangement, hospitality and catering, and training of trainers. To enroll, call us today on 0704 577 577 or visit our website at www.verabeautycollege.com. Vera Beauty and Fashion College, a center of excellence.
Help me identify a beautiful womb. I never came across one till I got to Vera.
Welcome to Look Up Guest House Retreat and Prayer Center. When you first come in, we will be happy to receive you at our reception, then proceed to our cozy and well-equipped accommodation facilities. We aim to provide our guests with a unique, comfortable, and worthwhile experience. Here at Look Up Guest House, we provide our guests with a continuous supply of room amenities. a cool environment for all your retreat activities.
Lookup Guest House Retreat and Prayer Center. For reservation, contact us on info@lookupguesthouse.org or call us on 0746 788 707.
Naitwa Agnes Kagore, ukipenda AK47. Mimi ni mwanabiashara na kiongozi hapa Nairobi. Nimeitikia mwito wenu na mwaka huu ninawania kiti cha ugavana kaunti ya Nairobi ili kuboresha huduma kwenu. Nitalainisha sekta za afya, mazingira,